Hey, Mark here. Before we get started, I just wanted to do something that I've never done before. I wanted to recommend a book that I absolutely love. It is called Best Movie Year Ever, written by Brian Raftery. It's about the movies of 1999 and how they blew up the big screen. Now, I'm not getting paid for this. This isn't a paid ad. I just wanted to promote it because not only did we use this book to research the movie that we're talking about tonight and other movies that we've used in our podcast, but Brian Raftery in 2017 interviewed me in an article for Wired. He talked to me about my dumb data, and it really helped me as far as a writer with opportunities and kind of confidence. And so now that he's got this book out, I really wanted to promote it. So go out, buy Best Movie Year Ever by Brian Raftery. You won't regret it. I mean, 1999 was a killer year for movies. I'm sure you'll love this book. Thanks. Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just said that my beard looks fake. It's Chris Kelly.
Hello, everyone.
So you started off with a compliment. Man, Mark, that summer beard is looking great. And you're like, but it looks fake.
Started growing it in winter.
And then I ripped it off.
Of 2016.
And you fainted. I've been Matthew Lillard this entire time.
I knew it. Mark Hoffmeyer's day off.
Ferris Bueller. Gee, the older I get, the less I like Ferris Bueller. How do you feel about that?
He's kind of a punk. Looking at it now that we're like adults and we look back at it now, he's kind of like, I don't want to go to school. Like, what? It's not that. Like, it doesn't seem like you had a very hard time in school.
Yeah, he's just, Then
again, he did hack into the school system and change his grades.
Smart kid. Now, that was a pretty good tie-in, because we're talking about election today. How'd you do that? Did you think about doing that, or is that just a coincidence?
That's how good I am, actually.
Has Matthew Lillard ever been in a movie with Matthew Broderick? Can you think about Wing Commander? Matthew Lillard, Matthew Broderick, and Wing Commander.
In the three Matthews. Who's the third Matthew? That's the Shyamalan twist.
Yeah. McConaughey. Wait, Matthew... Wait, there's Matthew Modine, Matthew Broderick, Matthew
Modine. That's a guy that's been quietly successful.
He stays busy. He's
a very successful man, and he does a lot of movies, and he's kind of flying under the radar, but he's still really successful.
He pops up in Stranger Things, Dark Knight Rises.
He was in 47 Meters Down.
Well, I like that movie. The sequel looks good, dude.
Oh, yeah. Did you see my Instagram where I posted a picture of the shark that was, like, attacking me? They have this giant cardboard cutout at the Regal Cinema.
Oh, my gosh.
And I was like, what?
You gotta watch out for theater sharks.
There's one thing I learned about the Sci-Fi Channel original movie, Ghost Shark. It is, you gotta watch out anywhere for a shark. Anywhere there's water, they can pop out.
Anywhere?
Anywhere. That's why gonna get kind of gross, but the guy who goes to the bathroom and then,
well, that's terrifying.
I thought that was so funny. Then it starts, the rainstorm happens, they're like, oh my God.
That sounds horrible.
Fantastic.
I'm also excited for the alligator picture that's coming out, where she gets trapped in New Orleans.
Crawl?
Yeah, Bee Pepper and Kayla Scodelario, the Maze Runner people.
Alexander Aya. I love his movies, man.
Piranha.
I love how he's kind of found his market where he's like overly gory and doesn't take it seriously. He's like turning into like kind of like a more serious, if Roger Corman ever took himself seriously.
Yeah.
I think that I love the way the direction of his movie is going.
I mean, he nailed Piranha. That movie is smut.
Oh, yeah. And Piranha 3 Double D.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Oh, yeah.
And then he also did Hills Have Eyes. I thought that was great. Yeah, that's a good horror remake.
I was probably in the minority with this, but I felt like that was a lot better than the original.
Yeah, technically probably right. I think, you know why I like that remake is so many of the remakes in the 2000s were very, like by Platinum Dunes who did Texas Chainsaw, they're very glossy. This one actually felt like there was dirt.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
no, I absolutely agree with you on that. And I felt the same way was that, the director of Alexander Payne actually brings this up in the commentary, was that they didn't like how everything looked polished, everything looked clean, but then with The Hills Have Eyes, you felt like you were there with them in the dirt, in the trenches, and I love that about
You got sand in your shoes. When you left the theater, you poured it out. But no, so since we're talking about election, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack here, so we'll jump right into it. But we both listened to the commentary, correct?
Correct.
I love how, he went back to Omaha. He shot in a school that, during the school year, he brought in a lot of the students as extras. I mean, the authenticity of this movie is off the charts.
And a lot of the bit parts, such as like the teachers and the students, were all played by real students and teachers that actually worked there or in the neighboring schools, which I thought was a wonderful choice because it gave more realistic feel to the film.
Chris Klein, he met in Omaha. He just had done some music theater.
And he was working out of the gym at the school that he was at. Alexander Payne was scouting. Yeah. He didn't wound up not using the school, but he met him and they were like, hey, he's interested in being an actor. Chris Klein is interested in being an actor. Maybe you two should talk. And he was like, okay, cool. And in the commentary, he explains that he had Chris Klein come in to read and he just got the character. Like he understood who Paul Metzler was. He knew that he was just kind of like this, like kind of like a fresh baby, I guess you would say. Like very newborn baby. Like that's kind of how his character was. He's just kind of like, yeah. And I thought that was brilliant because that's exactly who the character was.
Definitely dumb, but I kind of like that about him. There's an earnestness to him. I don't think there's a dumbness. I just think he's so earnest. He doesn't really consider.
I think he's just too nice. He believes in the niceness of everybody. Whereas, you have the direct opposite with Tracy, who just thinks everyone is. I mean, I don't know if I should say like she thinks that everybody is bad, but she's almost like what was the quote that I had found?
While you're looking for that, so she thinks. So you say that like she thinks everyone's bad. I think she's just so driven to be the best that she doesn't think about a lot of other people. People aren't on her bubble. I guess that's the way I kind of took her. And I was also very happy to learn that she got nominated for a Golden Globe for this movie. And then the writers, Taylor and Alexander Payne, they got nominated for an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. That made me really happy about this movie.
Very well deserved, too, by the book by Tom Perrotta, who also wrote Little Children. I thought it was a very well-deserved Oscar nomination. I do maybe want to read the book because according to Alexander Payne, they changed the character of Tracy slightly, whereas in the book, she's more sexual. Yeah,
she's more, sexually manipulative, and in this one, she's more
reserved.
Driven. Like, she's more goal-oriented, not like, she's not like sexually manipulative, she just used her goals, like, she's very driven in a different way. In this.
Yes, I would say that's more accurate. And this reminds me of the quote that I just found. That was in a review by Roger Ebert. He quoted David Merrick. He said the character of Tracy Flick reminds him of this quote, which was, "It's not enough for me to win. My enemies must lose."
Yeah,
and that's kind of sums her up completely.
I think it's interesting too. I also like how. The original cut, they had scenes where the mom was giving her pills if she was depressed, or her mom was chastising her for certain scenes.
She did give her pills.
Oh, you're right.
But, he said that it kind of gets lost because everyone thinks that it's funny, but he's like, this is kind of scary to me.
Yeah.
But whatever makes it work.
And the mom says, maybe you should have done this instead of this. And so this is a girl who's 17. So it's, in our heads, we're thinking, there are certain people who consider her to be a villain and all this, but she's just a girl. When she met the teacher, Dave, who she had an affair with, they started her junior year when she was probably 16. I mean, this is a girl who could be, I think also the narrators in this movie, it's played a lot for humor, but I think they're pretty unreliable because you have scenes where Matthew Broderick is talking about his wife, like we are soulmates and best friends and we share everything together. And then she goes, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Then he goes downstairs and watches porn and drinks Pepsi because it's number 2. And he runs in circles, and he has a horrible car.
I love how the director mentions that like he constantly shows the character of Jim McAllister, played by Matthew Broderick, that he's always in circles.
Yep.
Even his pajamas have circles on him. His tie has circles on him, and we're introduced to him by running on a track.
And doing terrible push-ups. And he's always followed by trash. I love at the end how the truck is just following him. In the beginning, he shoots himself in the foot because he pisses off the janitor with trash.
Yeah.
And there's just so much... It's a trashy movie.
He's a trash person, and that's literally what he's subliminally trying to tell us.
He is a trash person.
He's not a good guy at all.
He's a gross little man.
Which brings me to a great quote that I read from Chris Scullion. from his website, that was a bitmental.com, that he wrote his review of this. It's a website that he reviews a lot of movies and mainly video games, but he reviewed this movie back in 2015. And he said, who's the protagonist here? Almost everyone here is a prick. Yeah. I just started laughing when I read that because, yes, that's accurate. Who are we supposed to be rooting for? Maybe Tammy? Because that's what Alexander says in the commentary. He says it feels like, Tammy is the one that we're supposed to be rooting for because she's she's the one who, she expresses her love to the other lady. It was her first love, but she gets rejected. So we all know what that feels like. And then
Lisa. She likes Lisa. She goes pretty overboard with her Lisa, though. She's just like, we're going to be together forever. Like,
but isn't that kind of what you
right?
felt like whenever you were 16?
And she probably didn't have any soul, like anybody else in Omaha to really have that relationship with. So she probably wasn't young love.
Of course.
And she didn't have anyone to talk about it. Like, she couldn't talk to her parents about it. So
obviously.
So then she didn't have a right way to do it. So I guess that does make sense. But Paul, what about her brother? So when Chris Klein Paul starts dating almost immediately her best friend Lisa, he never thinks twice about it. Do you think that's kind of like he just floated through life and never considered his sister? But he does love his...
I think in his mind, she just asked him for a ride home, then she goes down on him, and then he's just kind of like, oh, well, this is cool. Yeah. And then he just kind of goes with it, and he's like, oh, well, you want to help me out? Yeah, she's not that bad of a person. But I think for Lisa, it was more of a revenge thing.
Oh, she manipulates.
That she was going after Paul to get back at Tammy.
Yeah. And the writer,
I think that's what it was.
Tom Perrotta, he did say that she got the short shrift in the movie. She's more of a character in the book, which I thought was interesting. And also, the writer, he taught at Harvard and Yale, and he saw a lot of students come in, female students that were very driven, like a new breed of student. And he said a lot of men or male classmates were intimidated by them, even though these students weren't doing anything wrong, but the guys were like, whoa, she's driven? Oh, hey, what is this? I'm a man. She can't do this to me. But then that idea came, and then also the election in 92, and then he also heard a story about a teacher somewhere that did something. So he drew all these influences together. I thought that was pretty interesting how he came up with that.
It was also, I believe, the book was based on a movie about a woman that was being driven as a journalist. I forget the name of the movie. I forgot to write
Kramer vs. Kramer.
Starring Chuck Finn.
Yeah. And so he wrote this book in 92, and then I guess for better or worse for him, that's when teen movies started hitting up big later. Clueless 95, you had Empire Records 95. But I started looking through these movies in the 90s. In 99, Election comes out, right? Mm-hmm. And I was actually working in a movie theater when I watched it. And
oh, that's cool.
I loved it. My brother watched it, told me to watch it, so it came in my theater and I watched it. And everyone hated it, all the people my age.
I think it just didn't hit with a lot of younger audiences.
This is an older movie. I'm watching it now laughing. Because I get the jokes.
It's a teenage movie that's focused on the adults.
Yeah. And who is it marketed for? But it came out during the same time of in 99, She's All That, American Pie, 10 Things I Hate About You, Drive Me Crazy, Jawbreaker, Teaching Mrs. Tingle, Detroit Rock City, Never Been Kissed, Varsity Blues, Dick, Idle Hands, Drop Dead Gorgeous, Cruel Intentions, Outside Providence, The Wood. All these movies came out in 99. Teen movies.
Damn.
So this one comes out and you're like, oh, I'm going to go watch that election picture with that weird trailer. And then you watch it and, I feel weird saying this, but in the beginning when Dave is talking about Tracy Flick, this high schooler, and whatever, we'll get our PG-13, but he goes, her pussy gets so wet. I feel so dirty saying that. Oh, gosh. But
I felt when he said that, I was like,
yeah.
I was a little bit like,
yeah, I had to say it, but now I'm feeling dirty. But you're just like, oh my gosh. And then, just the weird, very random sex scenes where his, Matthew Broderick's wife is like, fill me up. And then he starts envisioning people. And it's very funny. Now that I watch it, I just laugh out loud at the movie. But when I saw it, I really appreciate it. I loved Election when I saw it in 99. But a lot of people are like, that movie's stupid. Let's go watch She's All That again.
Well, it's
marketing too.
The target audience being, I guess it would probably be maybe targeted towards people in their 30s. But I think that's probably what lost it. It also came out on May 7th, which was probably not the best time, because usually that would be around the time springtime.
Yeah.
So then what would people normally be going to see?
Well, that was kind of that wasn't summer season. Remember when summer season used to kick off in June? So this was the month maybe before. It was maybe like the January of months. I guess I can look at May 1999 of movies. We can look that up later. But